What is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. We have a lot to talk about today. Breaking news, as of this morning, Heim Bloom is out in Boston and is on his way elsewhere or nowhere. We will talk all about that. Max Scherzer done for the year, most likely with the Texas Rangers. Also making a statement. Who's going to win the NL Cy Young Award? Blake Snell, Justin Steele. There's a lot going on back and forth there. The Atlanta Braves have wrapped up their 6th straight division title. The AL West is getting tighter and tighter, and we have fan questions. A lot to talk about today. Let's get to it.
Fly ball onto the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run!
Turns on a ball, deep right field, and gone!
What a game, what a moment. Happy Thursday, everybody. I am joined by Alex Curry. And Alex, there is a lot going on right now in the baseball. Like as of this morning.
Seriously. Also, how are you doing? We were a little spicy today when I walked in.
Am I not? Oh.
Yeah.
No, I just,
right.
it's my love language, just aggressive.
Good morning. Please be quiet over there, Alex. You're making too much noise, but it's okay.
I'm doing great.
We're here. We're doing great. You had a great interview yesterday, by the way, with Jackson Holliday. You can tell that he grew up around the game of baseball.
You can, because it's not every day you find yourself interviewing a 19-year-old kid. And yesterday I did just that, and he does not at all seem like he is 19 years old.
No, he sounded like a seasoned, MLB veteran, but that's what happens when your dad's Matt Holliday and you literally spent your entire childhood on the field and in the clubhouse. But what was your biggest takeaway from it?
I really enjoyed the conversation. He's obviously a top prospect in the game of baseball for the Orioles, 19, and he's already in AAA. There was the story that went viral like a week or so ago when he got called up to AAA about him going to a hotel, or like him having to stop at a hotel, and they wouldn't give him a hotel room because he was too young to get a hotel.
That's weird. He's 19. So once you're 18, you're an adult. You should be able to do adult things, except rent a car. You have to be 25.
So he tells the whole story about it. And the Cliff Notes version is they let him buy the room. They knew how old he was. He could buy the room. He just couldn't check in.
When you say buy, you mean pay for it?
Yeah, he couldn't buy the room, I guess.
So he paid for the room. He just couldn't check in.
Yes.
That's so weird.
Thank you for that clarification.
Well, I don't know. I'm like, he's going to buy the hotel.
But he could. He could have said, you know what? I'm going to buy the whole place.
Who knows?
No, it was really, really fun. He's a great dude. He's a huge prospect. And that was a great conversation. So go back to yesterday's episode and listen to it if you haven't yet.
Yeah. So from some great news yesterday to some unfortunate news this morning, Red Sox part ways with their chief baseball officer.
Yeah, kind of. I was surprised. I don't know how Red Sox fans are feeling. I would imagine there's a bit of surprise, but Heim Bloom is out. He started in October of 2019. Look, from my perspective, the farm system is in better shape. But he just, it's the Boston Red Sox, and I just don't feel like they did enough in his tenure, and that's the reasoning behind it. And at the end of the day, when you look back at his time there, he started in October of 2019. His first move with the Red Sox is trading away Mookie Betts. And it's like, well, okay. Bob Nightingale tweeted this. Fair mistake. Or not, Heim Bloom will forever be remembered by Red Sox fans as the guy who traded away future Hall of Famer Mookie Betts, which of course was approved by the Red Sox ownership. And not just approved, there was a lot of ownership in that move, but that's what people are,
oh yeah.
So, no World Series. They did reach an ALCS in his tenure, but not enough. And a bad year this year, missing out on the playoffs. Look, this is what God forbid a team look in the mirror, realize that they just vastly underperformed and
make changes.
It's
a good move.
Look at the Yankees and the Red Sox. You mentioned the AL East. the first two teams that come to mind for many people that aren't specific fans of a team are Yankees and Red Sox are in that division. Well, you have the Red Sox that are going to miss the playoffs. You have the Yankees that are going to miss the playoffs. And all we're hearing out of the Yankees is, well, we feel like we're in a really good place. And
we've had winning seasons.
Yeah, we don't know, guys. Come on. We're doing great.
No, both of those franchises are legendary franchises for being good teams.
Yeah.
And getting to the World Series.
Yeah.
So anything other than that should be unacceptable. So it's a bold move, but it's a good move. It's a smart move.
Yeah. Just surprising for sure. It's just Dave Dombrowski. You know, I love Dave Dombrowski. That's who won the World Series with the Red Sox over the Dodgers. And he does this. He did it in Florida. He did it in Detroit. He did it in Boston. That guy will get you to the World Series, but that farm system is not going to be in good shape. And he wins the World Series, and then, you know, shortly after that, he's out. Heim Bloom comes in, tasked to fix the farm system, and trades away Mookie. And it's just,
it's unfortunate timing.
It's just bad.
It's similar. Yeah. We've seen it in kind of like, if you're looking at the NBA with LeBron, when he goes to a team, he's going to get you a championship, but he's going to deplete your team. Yeah. And then they leave, and you're kind of the next guy in charge is SOL.
Before we move on, let me ask you this question.
All right.
I haven't thought through this, so it might not make sense.
Interesting.
You're a fan.
Yes.
Of a team.
Yes.
We'll just say the Dodgers. Okay. Fan of the Dodgers. Would you rather, over the course of 20 years, for the Dodgers to be in the playoffs and competitive every single year, but never win a World Series? Or would you rather them be terrible for 16 years, good for 3, and win 1 World Series?
Win a World Series. That's what it's all about. That's what it should be all about. That is the ultimate goal for every single owner, front office, player, manager. Like, your goal to play this game is to be the best and to win the World Series. So if you can get that, then you've accomplished your goal. It's not easy to get there, but at least you got there.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I get both sides, you know, like,
you just want to be good, but not great.
No, obviously want to be the best, but knowing every single year that we have the possibility to be the best,
but you're not going to get there.
Right. But like, I'm thinking about like the Royals right now. They won a World Series not that long ago. They are no fun to watch right now, besides Bobby Witt Jr. And it's just like, I get the side of like, I want to be competitive for 20 straight years and go into every season thinking I have a chance. You know what? Screw baseball. This is like my football fandom. You go into every season thinking Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl, and then you get let down. Yeah. So I don't know. I do get both sides of the conversation, but you know,
yeah,
it's interesting.
Surprising.
Yeah.
And then we also got some more sad news this week. Max Scherzer out for the remainder of the regular season, most likely the rest of the year.
Yeah, it just sucks.
Yeah.
It's sucky news. That's what
we've had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
Big injuries happen.
So this injury is basically the same exact injury that Justin had to start the year that kept him out for end of spring training and a little over a month of the year. He's out for the report says out for the remainder of the regular season with the low-grade teres major strain. Look, at this point, there's only a couple weeks left in the regular season, but then he's like, I don't know, unless they make like a deep playoff run.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised. And a playoff run at all for this Rangers team is in question. So it just sucks. It sucks for the Rangers. It sucks for the game of baseball. Max brings a lot of energy to the mound when he pitches. He's a future Hall of Famer. Really, really tough blow for the Rangers.
But as you mentioned, even if they do make a deep run and he might be available later for that, he's not going to be in the shape he was moments before that injury.
No.
You still have to build yourself back up. And I don't know if you want to do that in a do or die playoff game.
Yeah.
Putting that kind of pressure on someone, especially when they're not 100%. But as you mentioned, the Rangers are in the midst of that playoff wild card right now. So let's let that lead us into our first making a statement. Our first statement: the AL West is still up for grabs.
Yeah, there's no way around it. It absolutely is. And just when it starts to feel out of reach. Just when, the Astros got to about minus 600 favorites to win the division, they go and lose 2 straight to the Oakland A's with Framber and Justin on the mound. If you go into that series as the Astros and as an Astros fan, and you're told they're playing great baseball, historically good offense, coming out of some multiple series. You go into that series against the A's, who are like the worst team in baseball history. That's not true, but I'm a little dramatic sometimes.
You are.
But they're pretty bad.
It's just been a tough year.
You go into that series with Framber and Justin, your first 2 starters of the series, and you lose those first 2 games. That's a tough look. They end up salvaging the series against the Oakland A's by winning on Sunday, almost through a no-hitter there with Hunter Brown on the mound starting that game. But it just brought everybody back in play.
Yep.
And now they're about like minus 200 something favorites to win the division, when just a few days prior, it was 3 times that. So Houston Astros are in first. The Rangers are just a game behind, and they play tonight. They're the only team of the 3.
Okay.
Astros, Rangers, Mariners. The Rangers do play tonight.
And they've been on a little bit of a hot streak, 5-game win streak
against the team that it's most against the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
I mean, who are all these teams are right there
below
neck and neck
in the wild card.
In the wild card. And the Blue Jays were above and in that final spot. The Rangers have won those games. They play again against them tonight and can move within a half a game of the Houston Astros in the AL West. So this division absolutely isn't over.
No.
Any way you look at it, I would still pick the Astros. I still do pick the Astros, but it's just no. I think you'd be a fool to say the division is over when the Astros, they've done this multiple times. Just when it starts to feel like, well, they did it again.
Yeah.
This is the Astros team that is going to get to their 7th straight ALCS, which is ridiculous. Then they go and lose 2 in a row to the A's and bring everybody back into play. So is it over? No. Do I think the Astros will win the division? Yes.
It's also crazy because all 3 of these teams that are kind of in that race for the AL West right now, the Astros, the Rangers, and the Mariners, they've all been taking turns having these great stretches and then also just having these big lulls. Yeah. And we're seeing that with the Mariners just in the month of September. They've only won 1 series this month.
Yeah.
But you can't do that when you're in that playoff hunt trying to get that wild card spot.
Yeah. And they're all going through different, like the Mariners, definitely big up and down. Rangers are dealing with so many injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not, I don't think we've
They're
talked
1 and 2
about
They're 1 and 2. Ace.
Yeah. And they lost the AL Rookie of the Year front runner and Josh Young a while ago. And he was a huge part of that offense. And that was a huge blow. Adolis Garcia got hurt about a week ago. Then Max Scherzer, that injury. And just one more point there. It is the same injury as Justin. And people's bodies heal differently, obviously. Yeah. But if you were to look at what Justin went through, he missed that right at the end of spring training, then missed a good chunk of the beginning of the year, and then had to go out on a rehab assignment. And I just...
It took him a month to get back to...
Even rehab.
In form, like in games.
Right. So how is Max going to 1 month from now is October 14th, and then to ramp back up? I mean, what's best case scenario there? Starting game 1 of the World Series for the Rangers, and then it's like, well, you got to get there.
That's going to be your first one.
Who's your pitching what pitching's going to get you there?
Yeah, it's
Eovaldi
brutal.
hasn't been as good as he was at the beginning of the year. So
no.
AL West is certainly interesting, and as we've mentioned for a while now, Alex, they're all going to beat up on each other the last 2 weeks of the year. Rangers, Mariners play each other 7 times.
Coming down to the last
Mariners,
week.
Astros. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move to the National League because we had a clinch last night. The Braves will avoid a repeat playoff disappointment.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves, by the way. 6 straight NL East division titles. What a stretch going on there. And yeah, we're heading straight for another rematch of last year's playoffs, in which we all know what happened. Braves lose to the Phillies. Now, assuming the Braves get the 1 seed and the Phillies get the 4 seed, if the Phillies win the wild card round, then guess who that matches them up with? The Braves-Phillies NLDS rematch from last year is what we're heading straight for. So will they avoid a playoff disappointment? Look, this is the best Braves team I have ever seen. Ever. Not Not 2021 when they won the World Series, not the Braves of the 90s and 2000s that I grew up watching every single night on TBS. It's better than those teams. This is the best Braves team I've ever seen. It's a different Acuna from last year. He's doing everything different. He's cut way down on his strikeout rate. It's an MVP caliber Matt Olson, not a Matt Olson that's going to hit 240 with a lot of power. It's a guy that's hitting 280 and leading the league in homers and much better at the plate this year. It's an experienced Spencer Strider that has playoff experience now. It's an experienced Michael Harris, who won the Rookie of the Year last year, who has playoff experience. This team is so different from last year's team. And I don't think we're going to see a repeat disappointment from the Atlanta Braves and what we saw last year with the Phillies. I think this team learns from what happened last year. I think they take that experience. I think they're the best team in baseball this year. And I think despite being most likely the 1 seed heading into the playoffs, they're playing with a little chip on their shoulder. And there won't be the same disappointment. The Atlanta Braves will win the National League.
Yeah, the question is how do you keep that mentality at that same level now that you have 3 weeks until anything really starts? Like, you're still playing games, but it's not the same, I guess, meaningful baseball. It can be. You just kind of have to find a way to have those conversations in the clubhouse and in the dugout and every single day as you're playing. Like, we got to keep this up. Yeah. You can't let down for a second.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. Smoltz, Saturday with Smoltz, talked to him about this.
Okay.
And obviously he was a part of that team and record that I don't think will ever be broken, probably in sports. 14 straight division titles. And some of those were clinched super early. And basically a lot of what he said, and this is for this coming Saturday's episode, he went into a lot more detail than this, but teams are just going to have to figure this. These are the rules now. There is a first round bye. And you want that for your pitching and to be able to line up, but you're just going to have to learn how to handle that. And this is where I think managers make their money in the playoffs, where they push all the right buttons and they're making those pitching moves. And right now for Brian Snitker, you have Ronald Acuna, who's been playing every single game this year. He's going to be the MVP. I think you walk into that locker room and you say, hey, I'm going to get you some days in these coming weeks.
Yeah.
And the last series of the year, the last 7 games of the year, you're going to play every day again. But over this next week to 10 days, you're going to get a couple days in there. And I think he needs to do that with everybody on the team.
Yeah.
Go around, talk to the starters, communicate what you want from them, what you're going to do with them. And then the last series or 2 of the year, put them back in there every single day. And then I think what really needs to happen is you need to, in a perfect world, I think what happens, and I can look back on this with the Tigers teams that my brother was on in 06 and 12. And when you sweep in the CS and you have that downtime, it's kind of the same thing of what we're going to talk about here because of that bye in the first round. I think you need to bring up pitchers from AAA. Their season will be over.
Yeah.
Bring up pitchers in that week-long stretch. I think you need to have the hitters like it's a game. Have real live pitchers out on the mound.
Stay in that like game mentality.
Yeah, don't have your pitchers throwing.
Yeah.
Get your pitchers ready and rested. But those offensive guys, sim games in the batting cage doesn't work. Like 60 feet, 6 inches away, you got a guy going all out that wants to make the big league team next year and wants to put on a show. Like, go all out in those few days while you have that bye. I think that's going to be really important for the Braves. And that's kind of how I would handle these next few days with the rest. Yeah. And then the few days leading up to their NLDS.
All right. Well, let's stick with the Braves for our next statement. Ronald Acuna Jr. can get to a 50 home run, 80 stolen base season. What you think?
I tweeted this a couple days ago as a joke. But what I will say is, no, Ronald Acuna Jr. can't get to 50-80 because there's like 16-ish games left in the season.
I think 17 is what he'll have.
So he'd need to hit 13 homers in 17 games.
14 stolen bases.
I mean, he could get like 4 stolen bases in a game.
So,
look, no, that won't happen. But what will happen is 40-70 for the first time in baseball history. 40 homers. He's 3 away. 70 stolen bases. He's 4 away. Yeah, I mean, I said it earlier. What he's done with these numbers historically, I think if you really want to dive into the MVP conversation, those offensive numbers pretty neck and neck. I mean, you can make an argument for either side from the offensive numbers. Then when you start, that's where I think the 40-70 comes into play here. I think the 40-70 is going to win Ronald Acuna Jr. the MVP award. I think he is deserving of the MVP award. And I think we are a few days. He needs 3 homers. 3 homers in 17 games. That's
possible.
That's no certainty. It's certainly possible. I think it will happen. And it should be celebrated. But yeah, 50-80. I might have just gotten a little caught up in the moment when I tweeted that. Just a little caught up.
Just a little bit.
Baseball makes me happy and excited. And I wasn't even thinking about the math in my head. I just threw out a couple numbers.
Yeah. It's not impossible, but it's highly unlikely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk some pitching. This is going to be a fill in the blank for the statement. The NL Cy Young winner will be.
The NL Cy Young winner will be Blake Snell. And he put a nice little bow on that on Wednesday night from his performance in Los Angeles, where he absolutely dominated a great Dodgers lineup. Look, I just think there became a turning point, and Justin Steele has closed the gap more and more and more from his dominance over the last couple of months. But Blake Snell, it's basically the full season besides the first month or so of the year, maybe a month plus of the season. But in Blake Snell's last 20 starts, a 1.31 ERA with a 12.54 K per 9. Now, if that sounds really good, it's because it is really good. And he's the first pitcher in MLB history to have a sub 1.5 ERA with a 12.50 K per 9 or greater over a 20 start span in a single season. First starter in history to do that.
That's crazy.
So to me, like I said, I think the bow on his Cy Young season was last night in Los Angeles against a great Dodgers offense. And the best part of that for me was that the Padres gave him the option they've been riding him like crazy over his 20 starts. I mean, he's been their best pitcher. He's been the best pitcher in baseball for the majority of the season. And he's gone out there every 5-6 days. And I mean, he's been worked to no end. And the Padres asked him if he wanted a couple extra days to push his start and start against the Oakland Athletics. And he said, no, I want the Dodgers. And he went out there and dominated the Dodgers. And I think that decision, doing it against the Dodgers lineup means something. He could have gone out against the A's and dominated, and it would not have meant the same thing it does as dominating that Dodgers lineup that is really, really good. So, I think that sells it. I think that wrapped it up. Snell already has won with the Rays, and now I think he's about to add an NL Cy Young to his mantle and join a list of, get this, the list of pitchers that have a Cy Young in each league. Gaylord Perry, Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Roy Halladay, and Max Scherzer, who have all done it in both leagues. And I think Blake Snell is about to add to that and become the next name to do it in both leagues.
What's crazy is we saw him and talked to him kind of right when that shift happened of kind of a slow start to the season, and he just mentally turned things around, and you could just tell he was just so comfortable and confident. I know we've talked about this before, but he said he just kind of had to stop thinking about it too much. He was playing more golf. He was playing video games, and that's kind of what got his mind off of it, to just go out there and do what he knows how to do.
That turned his season around.
Us? You?
We did?
No. I said when we were talking to him?
You know what that means?
What?
Close your eyes if you hate fun, my friends, because Ronald Acuna Jr. keeps doing things that just bother people in baseball, bother the old guard that hates fun. Well, we don't hate fun here.
No, we love it.
And if you do hate fun, close your eyes, because we got to talk about Ronald Acuna Jr. and what he has been doing over the last couple of days, especially what he's been doing in Philadelphia, where he's just hitting absolute tanks and he's flipping his bat. He's setting his bat down. He's dancing around the bases, not like full-on dances. He's just, like flapping his wings like they're doing. He's dancing around third base, coming to a stop, doing his thing, touching home. He's having so much fun. And man, I am just sick and tired of people being sick and tired of fun in baseball. Just because it's happening to your team doesn't mean that you need to be offended. Maybe you should just be offended that your team is doing things that are allowing him to have fun in the first place, right? So then we have Ronald Acuna having fun, hitting balls off the facing of the upper deck in Philadelphia. And after the game, the Phillies manager, Rob Thompson, is quoted as saying, well, I like our guys to act like they've been there before.
Dude, Ronald Acuna has been there before, and he is enjoying being there. You're supposed to celebrate your wins. That's like what you do in life. So why wouldn't you do that in your profession, which is a game? Remember, you are playing a game, and you just had a great play, home run in the game. You celebrate. Celebrate your wins. That's what you do in life.
Yeah. Look, I know that wasn't the full quote from Rob Thompson. There is a much larger statement out there, and this was grabbed from it. But I mean, we can go back to last year when Rhys Hoskins had one of the coolest moments of the playoffs when he spiked his bat into the ground. And I love baseball needs so much more of this. And there is a line, there is a time, and there is a disrespect. There can be a level of disrespect, but when a player's just hitting homers and having fun and dancing with his teammates and dancing around the bases, I don't know, try not hanging a curveball right down the middle. How about that?
Yeah.
Why don't you be mad at your pitcher and say, yeah, I just like my guys to not throw curveballs down the middle. Why make it about Ronald Acuna and say, I like my guys to act like they've been there before? Well, he didn't have to hit that homer. You could have stopped it from happening. So, man, this was great. Ronald Acuna was going wild on social media last night after they wrapped up their sixth straight division title. Tyler Matzik, reliever for the Atlanta Braves, was quoted as saying, if you don't like it, stop it. If you can't stop it, admire it. If you can't admire it, keep it down so everyone else can enjoy the show. And Ronald posted on Instagram using that caption and posted that on Twitter as well. I am so here for that.
It's true.
I love that statement. It's so true. So, like I said, I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired of people that are just fed up with these young, exciting guys in baseball that are just put your head down and run. Just put your head down and run and act like you've been there before. You know what? You know what we all do in the backyard? If you're having a family barbecue and you're out in the backyard playing wiffle ball and you hit a ball into the trees and hit a homer off of somebody in your family, you know what you're doing?
Celebrating.
You are celebrating. You are flipping your bat. You're going crazy. Have fun playing the game.
So imagine doing that in front of tens of thousands of fans playing a game that you love. And it's your job.
I
celebrate your wins.
And then after they clinch the division title again, they're out celebrating on the Phillies field.
Yes.
The Phillies fans are booing him.
Of course they are.
Booing like crazy.
Yeah.
And Ronald Acuna Jr. just had some fun with the crowd and, waved to them all, told them to be louder. It was great. I thought it was awesome.
It was like your brother's Philly hello.
The Philly hello.
The Philly hello. That's what Ronald was doing.
Yeah. And me and my new best Twitter friend, Ronald Acuna, I tweeted that and he liked it. So
that's cool.
I think way
to go, Ben.
Thanks. So yeah, close your eyes.
Celebrate your wins.
Celebrate your wins. That's what I'm doing. That's what you're doing. That's what we should all be doing. Have fun. Make the game more exciting. Don't get mad at the opposing team. And this is outside of Acuna. Don't get mad at the opposing team because you got your feelings hurt. Just do better.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, play better. God, I can't tell you how many times I heard that in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to eat peanut butter and jellies every day at lunch? If you don't like it, play better. They got filet mignon up in the big leagues. You don't like it, play better. You don't like the clubhouse, play better. You don't like getting celebrated on, play better. Don't hang a curveball. You know, like hanging curveballs happens. Home runs happen.
Yeah.
But don't be mad at the other player for celebrating. He's not disrespecting you. Nope. He's not looking at you.
Celebrating
all
his
frustrated.
life.
He's flapping his wings with the team.
It's great.
Just celebrating things. So yeah.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it.
You know what we're going to enjoy now?
What?
Some fan questions.
All right. Let's do it.
Move up to the stage.
I'm going to bring my bat. I've found that I don't know what to do with my hands.
It's your security blanket.
I don't know what to do with my hands. So I just come up here and
we're dark.
Hold the bat.
Moment. Do we have lights?
There are lights.
Okay, we'll give it a moment.
It'll work.
Till we're lit.
Yeah. But yeah, I never know what to do with my hands.
Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Thanks, Jay.
And the bat helps.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
It's good. All right, well, let's get to our first fan question. This one comes from Seth Green, who said, first of all, thank you so much for the shout out on Tuesday's show. He's the one who gave you the jersey.
Shout out, Seth.
Yep. And now the Astros need to make the ALCS. My question is, would you rather have a beer or a margarita at a game? Hope to see you all in a few weeks.
Yeah, again, shout out Seth for the jersey and the note that he sent over. That was awesome.
He made Ben a custom City Connects Astros jersey that said Flippin Bats on the back.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Beer or margarita?
At a baseball game? Well, okay. Thinking through this, went to a baseball game last week and had a beer and a margarita.
Ooh. So you're going to start slow with a beer and then ramp things up with the margarita?
You know what's great? I think I started with the margarita.
Okay, so you started
know what's
high
great?
And you needed to
have you had
cool
those?
Down a little.
Have you had
the
the Cutwater cans?
That's what we had when we went to the Dodgers game.
They're so strong.
I know.
If you have two of those things,
you're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to you really need to pace yourself.
I went one and a beer. So to answer the question, would I rather have a beer or a margarita at a game? Why have either when you can have both?
Yeah. I don't usually, there's not like a ton of beer options that I can have because I'm gluten-free. If I'm keeping it mellow, definitely a beer, but I'm a spicy margarita girl. That's my drink of choice no matter where I go. So I'm going to go with margarita.
Great answer.
I know. Okay, let's move on to our next fan question. This one comes from Kyle. If the Braves win the World Series, is this the best Braves team of all time?
Glad you've asked. I've said it now many times, been saying it for a couple months.
This
is the best Braves team of all time. And I did ask John Smoltz that question earlier. Braves legend and part of some of those teams that could be considered the best Atlanta Braves teams of all time. And he said, yeah, this is the best Braves team this is the best Braves team in a long time, if not ever. Yeah. Is what he said. And I do believe this is the best Braves team that I've ever seen. Winning a World Series, I think, would definitely put a stamp on that, but I'm not even so sure.
They need to?
I think the best Braves team of all time, besides this team, was the 1998 Atlanta Braves, and they didn't win the World Series, and I would still consider them before. It was just it just didn't happen in the playoffs. So I think them winning the World Series would absolutely cement them being the best Braves team of all time. I think even if they get to the World Series, we can have the conversation of this was for sure the best Braves team of all time. They just came up a little short is what I think the conversation would become. But yes.
All right, we're wrapping it up with one more fan question. This one comes from Real G.
Real G.
Shohei Ohtani, the batter, versus Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher. Who wins?
I asked Shohei this question. I was going to say,
I was like, you did.
I asked him last year at the All-Star game, and in typical humble Shohei fashion, he said, well, all I have to do right now is throw it down the middle, and I won't be able to hit it. So Shohei, the pitcher. But this year that changed. This is the best year for Shohei offensively that he's ever had, and this is the best offensive season in the American League. And, man, now it becomes an interesting question. Well, not literally right now because he can't pitch right now.
Yeah.
But,
the batter. Because he's not missing.
I don't know. I want to say the pitcher, though, because he knows how to attack himself. But then the batter knows how the pitcher would attack him. Oh, that's getting confusing. My brain would go down a long road right now. I'm going to say the pitcher.
Okay.
I'm going to say the pitcher.
Now, before we wrap up, speaking of batters, Jackson Holliday just hit a home run like 20 minutes ago. So we're going to show that and roll out with that and wrap up our show.
The Flippin Bats podluck even works down in the minor leagues. His first,
look at that.
First AAA homer at the Norfolk Tide Stadium. Played many of baseball games there. It's like 5 minutes from where I played college baseball, so once a year we would play there. He did say yesterday one of his big remaining goals this season is to hit one more triple.
Oh.
So you can't hit triples by hitting homers, you know?
But,
no, I'm just
I mean, that's pretty cool. And it's a Flippin Bats effect. You just talked to him, and he just hit a home run.
It really is. It really is.
Seems to be a very cool trend here.
Good for Jackson. 19 years old, hitting AAA homers. The guy is going to be a stud. And, yeah, yesterday we talked all about what the Orioles have communicated with him in terms of this year. He's shot up through every level. So is the big leagues a possibility? Is it not? What about next year? What he feels like he needs to work on in the offseason, the future of the Baltimore Orioles. Asked him some trivia about his dad, Matt Holliday. It was just a really fun conversation, and I'm really glad he just hit a homer because I am now really rooting for that kid to have a lot of success.
Oh, and you got to tweet out the Flippin Bats effect strikes again.
For sure.
And go listen to that interview.
Yeah, go listen to that. That was Wednesday's episode. This is Thursday's. We are done until tomorrow. And then Saturday with Smoltz. We got a lot coming up. But that does it for this Thursday episode of Flippin Bats. Make sure you're following, subscribed wherever you listen to your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're also on all social media, including YouTube, at Flippin Bats Pod for all of them. But for this Thursday episode of Flippin Bats, that does it. Until tomorrow, my friends. Peace.